Hey, coaches, how's it going? Coach T here. Yesterday in our little group, we had a good discussion back and forth with a lot of coaches about trail and what's the difference between trail and drive, and what's the difference between drive and shallow, and how you would read all these things. So, kind of wanted to just kind of go into that a little bit today about, in an air raid, we're trying to get these concepts and our guys sitting and getting open in space. And then it always comes down to, what are the most creative ways we can, show these with defenses, not picking up on stuff because, in reality, we're running a lot of the same plays or same concepts or getting to the same spots on the field. We just want to make it look a lot different to the defense. So, kind of wanted to dive into this a little bit more and kind of see what you guys think. So we kind of know, kind of start out. So we know that shallow cross is a great concept. There's a lot of different ways you can run it. Typically, here's a base formation of what we would call Y shallow. And the beauty of shallow cross is that it really, really, really makes it an easy read for your quarterback. Because basically, if you're using this X and this Z basically as spacers or take two routes, just trying to occupy that corner and that free safety and then open up everything underneath. And again, you can run shallow cross with the H shallow, it can be X shallow, it can be Z shallow, and all you would do is replace their route with a guy running kind of a wheel or a slot fade or anything like that, just to get to the numbers to kind of space this thing out. But the way we kind of have it drawn up here is it's really easy. And so shallow cross by definition is we're running the shallow and the dig opposite of each other. Okay, now this is one of those concepts that was adapted from the run and shoot back in the day and has kind of just evolved over time. So right here is just a generic shallow cross concept. So your Y is coming shallow, your H is running the dig, and he is outside releasing. And against man, he's going to run all the way across. Against zone, we like him to sit right here in this window. So for your quarterback, all you're doing is basically reading this linebacker. If he takes the shallow, hit it up underneath, or hit it behind with a stop right there. If he drops back and kind of covers this, then you've got the shallow. If he kind of starts taking this and your free safety is kind of cheating up, then you can also post this X, and that can just be a tag you can make later in the game. And the rule of thumb kind of with shallow cross is you always want your F or whoever your back is going opposite of the shallow. And typically that is because you don't want, too many people in one area, two dogs in one doghouse, things like that. So the F right here is flare, or he's either swinging, he can shoot, he can check release, but he's going backside opposite of this. So basically in this situation, the X and the Z are just running guys off, spacing the defense out, and then we're reading this grass right here. And then the wheel is going to give us the grass underneath, or he's going to give us the grass behind, especially if they're in a zone. So that will be your shallow cross. All right, now if you took shallow cross and all you did was run that from the same side, now you have what we call drive. And again, back to an old run and shoot concept is drive. So you can run drive out of trips. You could run it out of 2x2 and just wheel that guy or wheel one of your backs, however you wanted to do that. So this is what drive would look like. So again, you can kind of read the same thing. The only trouble that I find with drive is that you're just making your read harder. Because if you're gonna tell your guy to sit in the first zone that he sees, that's gonna be behind. So your quarterback's eyes will be here and then there. When you run shallow cross from when you run shallow cross opposed to drive coming opposite sides, your quarterback's eyes are just in one area. So it makes it really, really easy. And then your F in drive would still go opposite, or your back would still go opposite, just to keep the flat area, free or clean. So that would be what your drive look would be. And again, this is just generic. You could always run 8 shallow and the Y come behind. You could run post. You could run a Z post behind, however you want to do it. So then we started talking about trail yesterday, which is basically the same thing as drive. Yes, trail is basically the same thing as drive, except the only difference that I could see or that I could find was that your F is swinging, free release swinging to the same side as the shallow is going to end up. So I'll kind of show you here. This is what we would call trail, okay? And typically Oklahoma runs this as kind of another variation of a shallow, because when you start getting up into like the college level, things like that, defenses plan, they pick things out, they learn how to defend things. So this is basically another way to get shallow or your concept to that same side by just, running it a different way. And Oklahoma likes to do it with this guy right here, like what this would be called for them would be trade or tray. So you're basically trips right. We call it early, and your Y is going to kind of set a natural pick on this backer here. Your H is going to release underneath. Your back is flaring. Now I have this drawn up where your first read will be here, second read will be here, third read will be here. So we're kind of back to setting that, Phil Jackson 96 bullet triangle offense up, but we're just finding a different way to get to that point. I think it will be even effective at the high school level to even, read the back first and then kind of come here. So basically what you're doing by bringing the back here, and again, this is why people don't run shallow cross, because they think, or this is why on shallow, they don't run the back to the same side as the shallow crosser, because they're thinking that this guy can defend both, which maybe he could, but it's going to be tough for him to jump and take this and be able to cover that. Because even if he's here, we can get the back and get to the sideline. If he sits back, then you got the back in the corner. If the corner were to come up, then you can take the top off. So kind of just wanted to kind of get some more information from you guys. I love stuff like this. I love going back and forth with you guys on why we do this. The way Lincoln Riley has started doing it and is this way, as he reads it kind of across the field, with the 5 just being like a 15-yard comeback, and that's kind of just like your exit valve if everything else is absolutely covered or you don't make a decision. So this is what trail would look like. And this is what I think, differs or makes trail different from shallow cross. What makes trail different from drive is kind of basically you're doing this. So again, we talked about creating it a quick game is you're almost creating Y stick or some type of stick concept on this side, except instead of your stick right here, your H or whoever's crossing is now getting to this area. And I would be fine, with him stopping in this area, and then you just throw it like a stick real quick. But it would have to hit quick. If you were turning this into a quick game, you would basically have to read back first and then shallow, because I don't think you would have time to go here, here, and then here. So that's just I just started researching a little bit, because we kind of talked about what the difference between drive and trail was, and how that all works in the realm of the shallow cross concept and what makes it effective. So from what I gathered, this is what I can decipher the difference between the 3 routes are, the 3 concepts are. Love talking with you guys about this. Let me know your input on this video, things you would do different. If you've done this at the high school level, how has it worked? If you've done anything similar to this, how has it worked? Let me know and let's talk about it further. So Take care, guys.